In this video, guys, let's talk about moving your stop loss to break even. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to you. All right, so moving your stop loss to break even is a controversial subject actually, and some people are very loudly spoken about this. And I get it because, you know, as with all things in life, often when someone takes the opposing view, and guys, you know, the moment in this period of time when we're kind of looking on social media and the news, this is never more of a pertinent thing to talk about. When someone has an opposing view to you, you tend to feel it, or you can consider it as an attack on you. Because like if you believe one thing and someone believes another, it's basically like them saying that you're wrong. And it's different for different people. And, you know, whilst we're not talking about social issues here with a stop loss, it's kind of the same kind of thing. Because if you're the sort of person who says, listen, I like to move my stop loss to break even, and another person says, well, that just doesn't make any sense, then you feel like it's an attack on you. But before we kind of push on with this video, it's very important to consider, and a lot of people don't consider this, I think, in life and in this stop loss topic, that everyone's different. Everyone has a different perspective. Everyone has different things that they feel and different things that work for them specifically in trading. And so when you talk about moving the stop loss to break even scenario, it's very personal. Now, you could argue, and I probably am on the side of agreeing with this, that moving the stop loss to break even from a complete logical perspective of return on capital for doing it is probably has a negative expectancy, or probably has a less return on your investment, if that makes sense. So in other words, if you moved your stop to break even with the exact same trade and you took trades where you didn't move your stop to break even, I would guess, probably with reasonable accuracy or reasonable authority, is that not moving your stop to break even would yield a bigger return. And that's just purely down to the numbers. And the only reason I say this is because I know that when you back test lots of different strategies, and I've seen lots of results of different strategies, when you implement a stop loss into those strategies, they become losing strategies. But if you use those as a theme and go, yes, well, it's a bias that we have this rally on a Wednesday, or this is a bias that when this low is taken out in reverse, we take it, rather than implementing it as a standalone system, that's when it becomes more powerful. So knowing that stop losses in general tend to degrade the value of a system, I can just think that actually moving a stop tighter is always going to devalue and degrade the system. So if we just go from that and say, okay, well, actually, logically, it makes no sense to put it to break even, and we accept that. Now, the argument isn't about that, guys. The argument isn't about whether it's a statistically correct thing to do. We can assume it's not, but it still might be the right thing to do for you. We are not algorithms. We are not robots. So moving a stop to break even has many advantages. We're going to say the disadvantage is that it doesn't actually give you a statistical advantage. In fact, it may give you a statistical disadvantage. But the advantage it gives you is one from a mindset perspective. And people who are moving stops to break even said, I move my stop to, a very seasoned trader, I move my stop to break even because of the mental relaxation it gives me. This person or anyone else moves their stop to break even because they want to have the feeling of a free trade. Now again, this may not be statistically or logically correct, but for them it works. For them, they go, right, I'm playing with what I consider to be house money. And again, you could argue the point back and forward whether it's house money, your money, all to your blue in the face. But if that puts them in a stronger position to be able to execute more trades, to be able to run that trade longer because they don't feel as if they've got any of their own money at risk, to be able to take other trades because they feel that one's blocked off, however it's framed in their mind, if they become better at it and that allows them to milk more out of that trade, then it overcomes the statistical disadvantage of moving the stop to break even in the first place. If it puts them in a better frame of mind, if they're more disciplined, if they're more focused, if they're more able to stick to the trading plan because they move their stop to break even, because for some reason it's ticking a box in their mind, then it's way outweighing the issue that is statistically disadvantaged. And as this chap said, I'm happy to be stopped out many times and not take a loss because I know that when I get one, I can run it and run it and run it, and I feel more comfortable with it. Now, is there two extremes to this? Yes, of course there are. You've got the extreme if you never move your stop to break even and it's gone, massively in your favor, 2,000 pips, and you don't move your stop. That probably doesn't make any sense because you're risking far too much. And on the other side of the coin is it moves 2 or 3 pips in your favor, you're dragging it right up to break even, you get pinged out on noise. So there's a balance there, and the balance comes in between looking at where the statistical advantage is and where the mindset advantage is. And we can shout until we're blue in the face and say, no, we should be able to run trades. We shouldn't call it house money. But at the end of the day, guys, it's finding out what works for you. And if you find that it works well for you, pulling that stop to break even as quick as feasibly possible, and then you feel comfortable running that trade for multiple days, whatever it may be. Whereas if you hadn't got the stop to break even, you'd be constantly looking at the trade, you'd be constantly worried about a trade coming back, you'd be snatching at profits, which we know has got a huge negative expectancy if you do that all the time. So if you just take a little bit of a hit to the strategy, if you like, by moving the stop, but you open up a whole new world of being able to run the trade, then it's worth it. And it's the same for a lot of things in trading. A lot of things in trading may not be the most statistically correct thing to do, but ultimately, if it's adding to a bigger potential further down the line, it's making you more comfortable with your trading, it's making you less agitated. It doesn't, a good example would be, final thing guys, listen, maybe you got stopped out, you took 4 losers in a row, and you've got a big propensity to go on tilt. Maybe that's one of the things, or revenge trade, and then you dig a hole for that. So to avoid that, you go, right, well, I'll pull my stop to break even because I don't mind taking 4 break evens. I don't like taking 4 losers. And yes, you might take more 4 break evens than losers because the stop is tighter. But if it's stopping you from digging that big hole because it's triggering the revenge trade, it's triggering the trading on tilt, then it's a great thing. And so, yes, whilst this video is about moving your stop to break even, it's about a lot of things. So the final point is, guys, is that, hey, if it works for you, and even though people don't say you shouldn't do it, try it out. See how you get on. Move your stop to break even. At what point is it okay to move your stop to break even? At what point is it a comfort thing for you? At what point is it a statistical advantage for you? And finding that happy medium. Maybe go back to your old trades. Look and see. Statistically, where could I have moved my stop to break even that would perhaps negatively affect it, positively affect it, or be neutral on it? And where, if I'd moved my stop to break even, wouldn't I have felt so damaged and frustrated by my performance because I was losing money and getting stopped out? And then finding that happy medium and going, okay, it's part of my strategy. For me personally, I know it takes a long time for me to have to move my stop to break even, and I'm not really a break even type trader. I'm more of a scale out of my position type trader into pulses. Let's say I'm long in momentum ignition type trade, I will scale out of the position. That will kind of put me into a more reduced risk position than moving my stop. So I like to trade things, and again, personal to me. I don't necessarily move my stop to break even, scale out, and then I might drag the stop up on the final half or the final 2/3 or whatever it is to a logical point on the chart, and I feel that works for me. Now, will I go back to break even at some point? Possibly I will. How will I trade it? I would adjust and adapt to market conditions and my mindset and my performance and all these kind of things. It's a very, very dynamic thing to trading, guys, especially when we're trading, we're not an algorithm, we're trading based on the statistical relevance and outcome of our strategy, and we're trading on our mindset and how we can trade comfortably and how we can stretch our comfort zone to hold those trades longer, to not go on tilt, to not dig a big hole for ourselves, to not do some of the damage to the account that isn't statistically part of something you can compute. It just happens because we are human beings, and if we can eliminate that, and then that's great. Why not do it? So that's stop to break even, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. You stop to break even type trader, or you kind of very strict and go, well, actually, no, I move it just based on the chart. I'd be interested to hear your opinion on that. Don't forget to check out the channel sponsor, guys. Links in the description below. And if you like this kind of stuff, of course, thumbs up's always appreciated, as is your support with thumbs up, subscribes, comments, always, ladies and gents. Take care. Keep your risk managed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.